Oh my goodness, who's ready for the crazy old Mad Zack show? Where we're gonna change the world with a song. Yeah, it's as easy as that. Oh, welcome to the human race, baby! It's the Mr. Rogers Show for grown-ups.
We're all part of the human race. Welcome to the club. We're all part of the human race. Yeah, I see you walking down. Get your hair done with shots. Welcome to the human race. I wish I had a
We're gonna talk about the movies.
Welcome to the human race.
Well, it's sad time, Phil.
God has no thing for you. But he does for me. Does for you. Maybe he makes you feel so.
That was Dan DeRuyter, Human Race. He wrote that about society and what he was experiencing and observing in the streets of Chicago. And then we had a long relationship till he died. He was my best friend. He adopted me as his protege and gave me everything he had, all of his music legacy. And that's one of the songs. And we might close with a special song that he wrote about me that he never told me. And he might have mentioned it passive aggressively, humbly, and I might not have been paying attention when he said that he wrote a song for me. But I had the original copy, and he actually put effort into it. It was like 6 takes for a song called Wasting My Time. And it was a song that he wrote about me and my life. It's very special. So anyway, I'm having some coffee. The coffee. Thank you, AD. I hope everybody's doing good out there. I don't have a monitor up yet, so I don't know who's in the classroom. But I'm having some fresh coffee. Yeah, café necesito para mi trabajo. Me gusta café. Me gusta café. Alexander Kamenska, I hope you're out there doing good, young lady. I'm working on my Italian, but Italian is based on Latin, and the Spanish is very closely related to Italian. So Italian should be easy for me to pick up when I start practicing and trying to learn it. Because someday I might move to Italy. Yeah, if I can get citizenship over there. Let me pull up a monitor and see who's there. Let's open up by talking about a couple of things that are kind of interesting and also synonymous with my existence, with the show and my sobriety and becoming whatever it is that I am today. I don't really know what I am. I'm not concerned about what I am. I'm focusing on what I can do, and in life as a person who's an American citizen in the country, that feels like he's an active constituent. Lacking a lot of information, of course. I'm not fluent in the things that are going on, because the things that are going on right now are corrupt. And for me to get lost in the details of what's going on right now, I have to do some investigation and go back and pull the taproot of the dandelion out of the garden. You can't just pluck the flower and the leaves off of it for making wine and greens for your salad. You got to pull that taproot out so you can treat that diabetes. That's right. So, in essence, for me to argue about stuff today, the thing I have to consider is the corruption of the people that are wielding their authority over me, that I'm submitting to, you see. So I have to question their integrity. Yeah, and that goes all the way back to the beginning of the United States. That is. Yeah, and, basically what we've got right now is we've got a whole nation full of bad parents. Yeah, bad parents. Yeah, and it all stems from bad parents. That's right. Like any of you guys who worked on a farm or grew on a farm or know anything about farming and how this, people run off and join the carnival type of thing. We use the farm. Let's go back to the movies before I get too started. Too excited. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So you ever seen any John Wayne? You ever seen any John Wayne movies? Yeah. You smell like beer. Well, I'm drinking beer. Yeah. Remember that movie Rio Bravo with Dean Martin? Dean Martin, huge star. As big or bigger than John Wayne. There's a movie called Rio Bravo. And in a nutshell, Dean Martin was an alcoholic. But Dean Martin was a gunfighter. He was a gunslinger. That's right. He was a gunslinger. He was the best. He was the best of the best. Yeah. He could shoot a fly out of the air, shoot the eyes out of a frog at 100 paces. Yeah, Dean Martin. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dean Martin. So Dean Martin, best gunfighter in the West, in the movie. His character. Don't remember his character's name, but he was getting kicked around, bullied by the guys, taking advantage of his weakening of his person as a consequence of being an alcoholic. And Dean Martin had no control over the abuse he was receiving from people in the community who were bullying him around. There was a scene where Dean Martin was fiending for a drink. He was jonesing. He needed a drink. He wanted a drink. Just a couple drinks, just to fight off the detox he was feeling, type of thing. And everybody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not speaking Greek. So the guy was taunting him in the saloon, and at one point he pitched a gold coin into the spittoon full of tobacco spit. And Dean Martin was supposed to retrieve the coin out, degrading and humiliating him. And John Wayne stepped in just before that humiliation went through the whole process and intervened. And he sobered him up because there was a big battle. There was a big battle brewing, and he needed him because he was the best. Yeah, he was the best. And he sobered him up so that he could be the best again. Oh, my hair's standing up. Yeah, and in the trades, if you guys watched the video that I posted earlier with the plywood piece of background and from 8 years ago or something like that, and I illustrate about me, I was the best in my trades and stuff. People couldn't measure up their manhood, their decency, their honor, their integrity. They had no decency, and everybody hated me and despised me for it and starved me out of the trades so that they could continue earning a living because everybody was demanding my work. Anyway, what they've done is they've done that to the whole nation. They've weakened the whole nation with drugs and alcohol. And the prison mentality has taken over society. Everybody's been dumbed down, stupefied. It's cool to be a gangster. Yeah, well, the real gangster is the guy in charge, keeping the notes. Yeah, keeping the book, you know. And I'm going to illustrate to you how to get your time back, how to get your money back, some of it, a lot of it. And then we're going to go back and examine pulling that taproot out. Yeah. See, the reason why nobody has any money, you know, you're always complaining about the electric bill. Oh, the electric bill, I can't afford the electric, you know, oh, the electric's going to get shut off, the electric's going to get shut off. Or the gas money situation, well, I don't have gas, don't have enough gas, I don't have any money for gas, I'm going to have to take the bus, I'm going to have to walk, I'm going to have to call somebody. Yeah. Yes, they baited everybody in because, you know, it was like when the men who built America, you know, when they developed electricity, put electricity on the rich people's houses. Well, the rich people are the ones that wanted the electricity. And they forced their wants onto us to make us want it. That keeping up with the Joneses thing. Yeah. So the establishment of the United States had nothing to do with the religious pursuits. It all goes back to tobacco. And if you want the history, from the history book that I read that was very substantial and supportive, it's called Tobacco by Ian Gately, How a Plant Seduced Civilization. And ties in with why there's no, you know, Incas or Mayans or Aztecs. So that they're the ones, when Spanish conquistadors come over, Columbus came over, they're the ones that showed them the tobacco. They didn't have tobacco before that. They got it from the American, North American, South American continents. Yeah. And they were so stupid when they returned back over to Europe and those countries all over in the West, in the East. They were running into situations where they had to throw stuff overboard because the ship was sinking, for instance. Well, tobacco was one of those things. They didn't know what it was. But when they figured out what it was, it became a key ornamental in the gardens of the palaces. Yeah, and it became valuable. It became so valuable, they were rolling up this, they were salvaging the butts and the spent tobacco off of the floors in the theaters and remanufacturing it into like sheet goods and basically making a sheet of tobacco and chopping it up and making faux tobacco. Yeah, kind of like, you know, making faux buds with the leaves of your pot and rolling them up and making them look like buds and pulling a gank move on people. Yeah, so the tobacco was the gold rush. Had nothing to do with the religion. See, the king, the dad on the farm. See, the dad on the farm had a plan because he kept a journal. Yeah, he had a list of all the chores and everything to make the farm run efficiently. So they had time to eat dinner. Yeah, and sleep. Yeah, and spare time to make the candles so that they could have light and things like that. Well, little boy, he didn't want to do what Dad said because he didn't like to work. He didn't want to be disciplined. He wanted to make his own rules. He didn't want to listen to Dad's wisdom that had been passed down to him from his father and the father before him, his ancestors. Yeah, he wanted to reinvent things and live the life of the king without the understanding that the king's life was based on his efficiency of running his household. Get your house in order, it says in the Bible. Yeah, get your house in order. Yeah. So when you get your house in order, you know, you become conscious that you can't have all the lights on. You know, it's a second nature thing when you become conscious and you realize that's a hole in your pocket. So you get your needle and thread and stitch it up and darn it. Yeah, you darn it to seal up that hole in your pocket so you don't lose money. Yeah. So nowadays, they fed us all kinds of items that consume electricity, fostering the electricity business. And now, like right now, they're talking about backing away from the gas and pushing more electric devices. Yeah, this all makes sense if you pay attention. You know, I got a lot of haters out there that don't think I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but they do know what I'm talking about because they're sticking around to hear more. Yeah, I don't care what you think about me. See, it's like, I'll use selflessness. Being selfless eliminates problems. For instance, if I have a piece of candy and you don't, and you hear me, you hear the crinkling of the wrapper, it gives you that feeling of wanting because, oh, I hear that crinkling. I know it's a piece of candy. I want a piece of candy. I wish I had a piece of candy. Can I have a piece of candy? No, you can't have a piece of candy. So then you get mad. And eventually, if you don't have any decency within you. First of all, a man wants for nothing. The minute I asked you for something, I just gave you control over me. Yeah. I asked you the time. I asked you what day it is. That means I have no control. I don't know nothing. I'm worthless. I'm weak. I'm easy to capitalize on. I know everybody loves that word. Yeah. So, it's about developing an understanding. That leads to stealing, because people don't want to invest the time to do the work, to dig the hole, to plant, to do the hard job. Yeah, you do the hard job. Dig the holes, plant them seeds, pull those rocks, get those rows in. Once you get the hard work done, you got months and months and months of sitting around and wait for the rain, pull a couple weeds, tend your garden. See, that's what God does all the time. Through our eyes, he visits, and he likes to walk through the garden and see how his plants are doing. Yeah, and I'm doing real good. Yeah, I'm not asking for anything. I don't want anything. I don't want a dime. I want nothing. I'm doing everything I'm doing purely out of love. Yeah, I want my kids to love me when I'm dead. They don't have to love me now. They don't, Everybody has an opinion. But in the end, you're going to find out, God, I wish I wouldn't have said that. I wish I would have treated him better. Or something or other. You're going to regret it. Yeah, not you guys, but, So anyway, greed. Greed, selfishness, laziness. See, I think, as far as our country goes, I think we ought to just automatically instill the death penalty for everything. Yeah, and then, automatic. Because you're going to get a lighter sentence. So automatically, it's a death penalty. You want to rape my kid? You want to sell my kid dope? You want to distribute alcohol to delinquents? Automatic death penalty type of shit. Violate me, rape my wife, come in, steal from me, damage my property. Automatic death penalty. You go into court and you argue it. And then we find out whether or not you deserve the death penalty or not. Yeah, like all those guys in prison running around, turning all the faucets on in the water, on the sinks. Let the water run, breaking the state. Yeah, what are you doing today? Oh, breaking the state. That's what everybody in the city who don't got nothing is doing, breaking the state. Yeah, and the poor janitor, he's busy digging all the freaking recyclables out of trash all the time because he's going to bed at night crying himself to sleep because the world's going to hell and he don't want to be part of it. Yeah. So, did make a couple of notes while I was thinking today, and upstairs. So they came over. The Dutch capitalized on it. See, all the problems we got stems from Dutch business practices. When you make the rules to the game and you know where they can be broken. Yeah. And their idea of the religious demands that they placed on the community, manipulating people through the church, like in that movie Chocolat, where the mayor of the town was the one that wrote the sermon. Yeah, the preacher didn't get to do it. The mayor had to do it. Yeah. So people are being led on by their faith, and they don't realize that the wolf's in sheep's clothing. Hi guys. Yeah. So we have to go back to the tap room so that we can even distinguish who the state is right now. Yeah, submit yourself to the law. You have the very law that's, possibly created everything. We've got no confidence because nobody's keeping notes. They're just trusting what the dope man told them. Yeah, now all the fentanyl industry could be an operation to wipe out the homeless. Yeah, not a bad plan. Yeah, if you're that guy. Yeah, nice idea. Yeah, Yeah, it's not a good idea. See, the thing is once they get rid of the homeless that are on the street now, all of us like myself who aren't quite homeless yet because we ain't run out of all of our money, we're set up to be homeless next. And then we'll be the next ones that they sweep off the street when they come through the street cleaner. Street Cleaners Blues. Yeah, look that one up. Hashtag Street Cleaners Blues. Some of you guys heard that song I made. So anyway, we've got lots and lots of problems. And nobody's saying because the ball game's on. Yeah. It's like, everybody's a disgruntled child. Nobody wants to invest the time to actually become a real man. Yeah. You have no answers for your kids. If you have nothing to base your knowledge on, you got to ask the neighbor what time it is. You have no control of your life. And everybody goes to the voting polls thinking they're voting. Yeah, vote on number 3. Well, what is number 3? Well, it's the abortion thing. Oh, no abortion. Oh, and then that happened to bleed into the public schools. Yeah. So everybody's got to read the notes, see? Just because they said, the bill's to put a law so they put a light up or a stop light on the street. Well, there's all kinds of other things in that bill. Yeah, it's not about just, nobody's reading. Fair Ratings Act of 2005. You go and read that bill before they passed the law, the activity in the courtroom. The guy got judge behind the desk, he even said, hey, you guys got to have to go out back and duke it out and then come in and get your story straight. Yeah. You see, the Media Ratings Council that's poisoned all of our minds since they killed Kennedy. They don't have any rules of what they can and can't do with their advertising practices. So now we're in a position where, because of all the mind control and what they've done through the media, through the TV and the radio frequencies and the electronic low frequency weapons, messing with our serotonin levels and our melatonin levels in our brain through the light that we can't see coming through the screens, we're going to have to employ mind control to reverse the damage. Yeah. In the near future, there might be an election. They might create jobs by manufacturing devices to lock us all in our homes. We have to go on TV and talk to somebody on the screen with a two-way call to see if we can get approved to even leave our house. See if we're mentally stable enough to go to the market and get some eggs. Yeah. Nobody's thinking. Nobody cares. Yeah. Karens. Everybody's Karens. Yeah. Karens. Yeah. Well, you can call me Karen because I care. And I know I'm doing the right thing. Yeah, and anybody who isn't doing the right thing is just another one of those slave masters waiting for somebody else to capitalize on their stupidity and ignorance, to take advantage of them, to do their work for them. Yeah, hiring a maid to clean your house. That's fine and dandy if you can afford a maid, but you shouldn't need a maid. You shouldn't need a maid when you clean up after yourself. Yeah, you don't just go through life and just leave a trail of wake of trash behind you. All these people going out hunting and fishing in the forest and throwing their beer cans and stripping the line off their reels and leaving it on the banks and all that. We're in huge trouble. And I got all the answers. I got a lot of the answers. Yeah, but nobody wants to listen to me because it sounds like work. Yeah, I like actually diving in and learning about who's in control of our country right now. See, my opinion is that most likely all the powers that run the country have all defected and they're living in other places with their money and they're nice and secure in their new locations with their speculation of what's going to come out of the garden here soon. So the people that think they're authorities are just pawns assigned to kind of run things and look things over. See, in essence, the guards are not looking. Yeah, and the prison gate's open. Nobody realizes it because they're too busy arguing about what's for dinner and what they like to eat. Yeah, you're a grown-ass man. You're hungry, you eat what's on the plate. Don't care if you like it. Tough shit. That's what's for dinner. You eat or you starve. Yeah. Nobody wants to follow the rules. Nobody wants to accept the dictation. Yeah, Noah Webster, when he went to the trouble to put all the words and the definitions and all that stuff down. Well, we threw all that away. Nobody has a vocabulary anymore. No, nobody has a vocabulary. They can't understand a word, a simple word. It was designed to do that. Like prejudice, And, I don't know, there's a bunch of other words out there. But judgment. Yeah, you have to judge whether or not you're planting your plants too close or not. You have to judge, okay, bugs coming in and infesting your garden. You have to speculate on that. You have to think about it. There's judgment involved. Yeah. You're not supposed to judge other people because of their sins. You're supposed to forgive them because they haven't become educated to develop the efficiency they need to take control of their own life. And it's sad. It's very sad. Yeah. And I'm the guy that everybody comes to for help. Well, pretty soon people are going to come to me for help, and then I'm going to drown in that and become consumed by it. Yeah. I want people to be able to help themselves. Yeah, you got children to take care of. I'm not going to come over and wipe your kid's ass for you. Yeah, and if you can't take care of your kids, you're not willing to take care of your kids, that goes back to the death penalty thing. And then we'll decide whether or not it's because you have a mental incompetency or not. And then you should be in a home and not have children. Oh, yeah. I think this free country and this Democrat and two-party thing, but we need to stop everything and instill a 10-year teaching pattern to try and help the people of America. Because right now, they're about to be victims. Yeah, all the authorities and the affluent people who are high up, they're nice and secure with their investments and their bonds. And all of us are left helpless to scavenge on a land that can't even produce food anymore. The creeks, you can't go fish the creeks because they're all toxic. Yeah, and the fish population, if we were all to leave the cities and go out and try and live on the land, we would all die because there's not enough there to sustain us. There's not enough animals. There's not enough forestry. There's not enough fish in the water. We're in big trouble, and no one is thinking. No one cares. Yeah, where's your money coming from? Who's paying you? Who owns that company? Did I just join the cartel? Am I involved in, are they part of the Church of Satan, praying that we all die soon every day? You're surrounded by deviants and fools and children, uneducated people. Yeah, uneducated people. Yeah, and me as a business owner, I don't want you to become educated because you might get hip to the many ways I'm cheating you. You see, it's all descended from Dutch business practices. The Dutch mob, everybody, people talk about the Dutch mob. It's a real thing. Yeah. Yeah. And now everybody with money's in bed with China. Yeah. Yeah. And for me to move out of the country without trying to do something as a constituent, that makes me a traitor. That makes me mutinous. See, right now, there's mutiny on the ship in America. Yeah, there's mutiny on the ship, and the captains and the officers are all sissies. And they're hiding, bailing out, taking turns using the lifeboats. Yeah, in the meantime, all the mutinous people are taking control of the ship. And the good crew members don't know what to do. Yeah, so we might have to start shooting. We get that taproot out of the garden, and we find out who's all behind it. Yeah. Yeah, we're involved in a big web of lies.
You did that.
And I can't get any response out of anybody. No one to reciprocate, except for people who refuse to do their homework and compare notes. Yeah, and if you're not willing to do the homework and read the bills and look the words up in the different contexts that can be used and develop your vocabulary so that you can come up with a comprehensive understanding, then you're absolutely useless. Except for food, when we get to that starvation point, when there's a lack of food. Cannibalism is coming soon. Yeah. Yeah, cannibalism. Yeah. See, I'm only sharing little pieces of what I know. I can't illustrate everything, but I can illustrate just enough to let some people know who are paying attention with purpose. Yeah, some people are actually learning to develop a better understanding of whether or not they should be giving me a bunch of money. Yeah, and listening. And some people are trying to figure out how to take me down, shut me up. Either way, I don't care. I've been in bad relationships. I had a war with my girl for a year over the sugar. I never said a word about it. You see, it was a silent war. Just like the silent war going on in the United States on many levels. Financial deprivation by not letting people provide the labor, giving the labor to somebody else because you don't want those people to have that money. Yeah, don't fuck with me. I'm on top of too many things. I'm gonna let you know just enough to let you know that I've got the bag with the cat in it. Yeah, and I'm looking for the troops, the people, the people that care, the people that want to do something but don't know what to do, looking for guidance, looking for where to dig to find the gold. Yeah, but there's too many people with their ego in the way, and their inferiority complex, and they think they're smarter than everybody else. Yeah, and they can't take care of themselves or keep a note or tell me what they did last week on Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Yeah. You have to develop efficiency in running your kingdom to be able to have time to negotiate with other kings. Yeah, if you're a king in a kingdom and you don't have an efficient plan of running your kingdom, why in the hell would I want to bring my army there and help you fight some people that have nothing to do with me? Yeah, why would I want to do that? Why? Why would I want to do that? Yeah, see, I think my competency level is accelerated to the point where a lot of people are silent because they're truly listening. Yeah. And the other people just want to try and interrupt my thoughts to try and get me, to make me look stupid. Yeah. Can't do that. I do that good on my own. Yeah, I don't care what you think. Your opinion of me isn't going to stop me continuing to develop and refine my efficiency of running my household and enjoying my wealth and my free time that it took to create this magical menagerie I have. Yeah, I've invested in myself. And people hate you when you invest in yourself. They despise you because they didn't do it. Yeah. You have to learn. Learn. You learn from your parents, whether you think they were good or you think they were bad. You have to learn from them. You're a pearl becoming in the oyster of life. You're a grain of sand on the beach. Now, grains of sand, takes a grain of sand to make a pearl. Yeah, so don't think just because you're a grain of sand that you're a pearl. No, you actually got to do the work, climb inside that oyster. Yeah, that oyster of isolation, away from assholes who think they're better than you and say things to you like, who do you think you are? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked who I think I am. I'll tell you, it's all right here in my journal. Yeah, I'm a pearl in the oyster of life, becoming a big, beautiful black pearl. That's right. Yeah, sometimes I wonder if I'm wasting my time. But I get confirmation. It says I'm not. I'm wasting my time on a lot of people. But in order for me to fulfill my obligations of my assignment, appointed to me by the divinity, I have to continue offering whether you're worthy of the offering or not. Because there is a possibility that you will become wise enough.
Spend my life with you.
Until you completely identify yourself as weed, and I kill you with weed killing.
Spend my life. Took my heart again. What am I gonna do?
The army needs our help. They just set the childish shit aside. Everybody's afraid China's coming. That's a possibility. We should rather smoke pot. Yeah, which brings in the farm bill. Yeah, so they can make fake weed legally.
Love
poison people with. It's not for everybody. You gotta have a brain to start with to handle inebriation. It's like getting a child drunk and asking him to spell, do his ABCs. Capitalizing on the society and dumping dope and intoxicants and alcohol and spreading that wide. That's abuse of the population, capitalizing on their weaknesses to manipulate them. That's not ethical. I don't want my kid to be stupid so that all he can know is to put fence posts in the ground. I want him to know how to run the farm. I'm gonna die. It's his farm. I don't want the neighbor coming and taking it because he don't know what to do. That's the problem. You ask for somebody for help on what to do, next thing you know, slowly but surely, they end up taking over. Well, part of this don't make sense. Paul? I got good people, perfectly good, worthy people in my availability that are so obstinate, like a jackass mule that ain't had no training. All this time you've been on the planet, none of this stuff I say makes sense to you? It's because you're obstinate. Yeah, which brings in all those nasty words. The name calling. Oh, it's a Democrat problem. It's a Republican problem. That's the same thing as calling somebody a nigger. Blame it on because somebody else didn't do their job. Well, you got to do your job. Set the goddamn example. That's right. They can't measure up. Get rid of them. If you can't get rid of them, and they're making you compromise good for bad, then that's an extermination. Yeah, necessary. Sometimes you have to call your flock avian flu. You have to call the chickens to keep it from spreading. Yeah, same thing with stupidity. People breeding stupidity by sharing that and influencing other people to be stupid. Yeah, it's time for a culling. Yeah, time for culling on the farm. Can't have avian flu spreading. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to avoid war, you gotta do the homework. Brains over brawn. I'd just as soon start shooting. Yeah, I'd just as soon start shooting. I don't want to do that, though. That's not the right thing. This is the right thing.
So many years. Trust me. Not in love.
Been shining shoes since I was 4 years old. Navy brat. My dad was a jet mechanic, flew airplanes. My mother was in radio communications. I was a nasty secret all my life. Lied to up until I was 15, when I learned the truth. But I'm not here whining and crying about all the beatings I took. No. That's what made me. Yeah, I got my shield. Yeah, come home with your shield or opponent. Well, I've got my shield. And I'm ready for war. Don't see anybody else ready. Everybody's a big tough guy. Oh, well, you gotta come over and kick my ass. Everybody's gotta be pussies these days. Well, you know what? If you can't use your brain, you're the pussy. Don't be afraid to use the tools God gave you. Can't run a business without a brain. That makes you a crook. Nation's full of crooks. The crooks are what started all this. The name Bauma pops into my head. from the Dutch. Yeah, it's all from the Dutch. Yeah, and I can't get any cooperation. Can't get any assistance. Nobody will give me a job because they don't want me to have any money. Yeah, you give Zach some money, we're in trouble. If this book sells, he becomes a famous author, we're in trouble. Yeah, you're in trouble anyway, whether I get to you or not. Because there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Yeah, but I'm trying to tell everybody, today is a brand new day. Yeah, we get a chance to start over. Begin making our journal, developing our self-development. Yeah, I'm offering you the wake-up call that everybody's been waiting for. But they don't have any balls. I got your balls. Yeah, I'm holding them very gently, of course. Nice tight pit bull scrotums. Yeah, nice tight pit bull scrotums. Yes, this is part 7 of the American Makeover, Asshole 101. Yes, class I invented when I invented the show. I had a fleeting thought that passed right by. Yeah, the online stuff. See? You ever buy something online and never get it? See, right now, they're doing all this stuff online. I buy a lot of stuff online. But they know nobody keeps notes. Nobody's keeping a receipt. Nobody's keeping track of when they purchase something and that they're waiting for it. You buy something on Wish and hope it comes. Yeah, well, there's lots of stuff I ain't got. See, you make your online purchases, it goes back to that 80-20 ratio. Yeah, so we're giving people money, and they're not giving us the goods. And there's no laws controlling the internet business. We have to take over the internet. We have to take over the media. We have to take over broadcasting completely. Yeah, and we have to establish rules of what's allowed. Yeah, subliminal programming and all that stuff is that's a mental health crime. Yeah, it's a mental health crime. I think the whole nation should be stopped in its tracks right now and declare mental health crisis immediately. The whole nation. Yeah. That's what I think. People need healing. Healing or a painless death. That's what I'd like. Healing or a painless death. Well, I've been healing. Yeah. I don't know if I'm healed all the way, but I'm healed a very great deal. Healed enough to be an example. Yeah, I'm healed enough to be the example. I'm healed enough to be the change. I've displayed a two-year history of my rehabilitation of myself because I wanted to. Nobody told me to do it. I wasn't ordered by the court. I wasn't reprimanded at work and had to do it to keep my job. No, it was a decision I made on my own, being the captain on my own ship, reflecting on my notes, correcting my mistakes, trying to become more efficient, more wealthy, so that I have time and wealth to share with those around me that deserve it. People on my crew that are working hard to make me proud. Yeah. People that are on my crew working to make me proud. Yeah. Yeah. I'm giving you the very same love that I was trying to offer my children. Yeah. Yeah. Over having a rebellious wife that didn't want to follow the rules. Yeah. You're married. Why are you flirting around trying to get another relationship? Yeah. You have no honor. Yeah. You marry somebody and have kids with them and then abandon them and leave them. That should be a death penalty situation where that's hanging over your head and you have to prove why you're leaving that child, abandoning that child, abandoning the future, destroying the future possibilities, undermining. Yeah, being the gopher, pulling out the radishes as the farmer plants them. What do you do with that gopher when he's pulling your radishes out of your garden? What do you do with him? Feed him more radishes? No, you kill him. Yeah, you kill him. And then you take the necessary precautions it takes so that you don't have to kill another one. See, you put up the fence. You plant little patches of stuff around that, a zinc plate. You put a zinc plate on your vessel. Yeah, you establish a zinc plate on your vessel so there's something to eat away at and not destroy your ship. So you kill the gopher as an example to the other gophers. And then you go through the process and spend the time and the money to take the precautions to not have to kill another gopher. Yeah, because it's not fun killing an animal. No, I don't take it. It's not fun and exciting to kill the deer when you go and hunt them. You're hunting it for food because it's your survival. It's them or me. It's fight or flight. Yeah. So, you fight or you flee. Yeah, you flee and you get your shit together. And then you return to the fight. See if you can work it out. But if you're forced, you end the battle as quick as possible. Yeah, with the least amount of damage. Yeah, the least amount of casualties. Yeah, which brings in our U.S. military forces all these years, making sacrifices, personal sacrifices, having their legs and their penises blown off their bodies to go and fight for a bunch of bad parents. Yeah. We need to bring back the death penalty. That'll stop everything. Yeah, you think twice about slashing my tires. That law where somebody comes into your home and violates you, that's the best thing ever. You want to attack me on the street and I'm forced into hand-to-hand combat and you force me to go as far as to immobilize you permanently? It's not a nice thing to have to do, but when you're trying to protect your kids, you have to preserve yourself to take care of your kids. See that mother duck fighting off them big beasts 3 times her size. Any of those animals going to great lengths to protect their babies. Got a chicken with a bunch of babies in the nest, and a cobra trying to kill the babies, and the mama fighting the cobra off. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm fighting for a bunch of ungrateful, obstinate, ignorant, uneducated, bad parents with no desire to become. Yeah, but to give up the fight and go move somewhere else makes me a traitor. Yeah, kind of like they labeled Ollie North. Labeled him a traitor. Anyway, I'm trying to tell you, life is good. I'm going to great lengths, taking huge risks, literally begging people to get on board my ship before it's too late. Yes, the American Makeover. The Great American Makeover. Asshole 101. Because that's what you are when you're keeping notes. Yeah, you're an asshole. Because, yeah, I'm an asshole because I know you didn't report for work. Yeah, I know what time you showed up on the job. So when the guy I work for says, well, it took you all this long. Well, the guy you sent to help me, yeah, he showed up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You see, this is your defense. This is your cannon. This is your voice. in the constituency. This is your voting power. Okay? Your voting power. This is your voice. And if you don't have an efficient household, you'll never have time to write to your local mayor or the governor, your state representatives, ever. Yeah, and you'll always be mad with a bad attitude, trying to string my kid out on dope so you can have some money. Yeah, maybe we ought to take a mental competency exam one at a time and just start quietly executing people. Yeah, all of a sudden the streets will be clean. All those vets on the street homeless are victims. They made all those sacrifices. The biker movement, those guys coming home from Vietnam and all that, being rejected by society because of what the capitalistic dictatorship forced them into playing with. We got to go back and pull the taproot out so we can treat the diabetes. Yeah. Yeah, and make wine. And have greens. I've got the answers. Yeah, and anybody not willing to hear them is part of the problem. And I'm not going to die without having tried. No, I'm not. Support your local agricultural. I'm supporting Michigan FFA always. My home state, Michigan. That's where I claim my claim to fame is Michigan. Farmers need our help. The little towns are dying. The little farm towns. They can't keep their diners open because all their little boys and girls, you know, the TV programmed them to be sissified. Oh, I don't want to touch the cow's dirty nipple. Tough shit. Because, yeah, you didn't want to milk the cow. But now you're sucking the cheese off some dope dealer's toes to get another hit. Don't bullshit me. I've been around. I've been studying all my life. I spent 26 years on and off the streets. Studying. I'm Jane Goodall. Studying the monkeys. Trying to protect the monkeys. Yeah. Trying to protect the apes. Yeah, you're going to realize I was Tarzan. Yeah, it was all those things. I think I've shown you that. Yeah. My wonderful personality spread. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. I'm happy as hell, top of the world. I found the happiness everybody wants, and I'm trying to share it. I want everybody to be happy. I know what it's like to cry yourself to sleep at night. Okay? I was dead 6 times. I'm here for a reason, and if you can't accept me, well, it goes back to that, you know, law and order thing. Yeah, law and order. Yeah, where the cowboys are. See, I'm the new age cowboys. The trades are all the heroes. Skilled trades, yeah, they're being robbed by all these rental property owners. Being robbed. And they're paying the drug addicts and the drunks, they're paying them to do the work. So they can have more money for themselves. In the meantime, the country's dying. Yeah. I'm crazy on Mad Zack. Yeah, crazy a fox. Mad scientist, mad. Just crazy enough to be the change. That's right. I said on April 28, 2021, I'm going to light a fire in the hearts of all men. Yeah. All my life, men never liked me. Yeah. Because they could sense in their soul. They could sense in their soul who and what I am. That's right. They tried to kill me many times. Dad always tried to kill me. Money, peace, love, you know who cares. Yeah, call me what you want. I've been called everything.
fighting. We fought for a year. Okay? But because when I felt it in myself, I was constantly using my mental to deal with it, always accepting you. Never, it was just a little frustration. Like the sugar goes here. But I never corrected you out of my fault. Yeah, maybe the sugar. Just an example of my maturity and my ability to realize the ultimate teachings of all the gifts and the knowledge I was given. I was able to communicate in such situations. And something magical just happened when I was reviewing your content. Because I my character, I put that severity of all the personalities, and it was all the different angels learning things, because it's not like it's all my knowledge, it's like they're all, yeah. It's saying, the dream, whatever the dream I had, well, it was a cave, and it was in a cave, and there were these like lanterns, and they rolled up, they would fly to the air, and then as they got to the cave, they would roll up into like a school, and they would lean themselves against the wall. They were killing them in the caverns, storing away their knowledge. They were gathering all this around like wolves all around the neighborhoods and stuff before we could see them across the streets. Okay? So they've been teaching me through my angels have been directing your your attention. It's not you, it's your conscious, your subconscious mind. You're tapped into like a supercomputer, this natural energy. It's God, that's the spirit of energy that gives us the life. So they're always, we're instruments and tools, and they're utilizing. Some of our frequencies are working right because of our experiences and our attitudes and our character. So people, they don't learn, and slowly everybody's, their frequencies turn off, and they can't receive the communications. Like they see a certain numbers flash on the screen. So, does that make sense? Do I sound crazy? So anyway, I know what I'm talking about. I don't need to beg you to believe me. I'm not trying to beg you to believe me. I mean, I don't care if you think I'm crazy or not. But I just took all of my whole life's education and applied for a job. Okay? I gambled everything I got. And everything in my video, as you analyze it, I totally stand like, non-threatening. Dictation, but not threatening. And making a comment that I'm doing it for love. And it was just like, it's just, but it was like, it was all put together, my whole rehabilitation. And today, I basically, I have my homework I have my homework finished, basically. And now I just have to clean up my desk and, wait for the deadline to run out to turn my homework in. You see? So my belief is that they will come for me and try to sweep me back into the psychiatry hospital. So prepare for some disturbance. I just want you to understand that. I don't want you freaking out because I know you're got the stomach thing and we got the issue with the bills with the hospital and and the animals, that's the thing. What am I going to do about the pigeons if that happens? Well, I'm afraid to put the babies out there yet. Because it's not cold. Maybe I'm being overly sensitive, but I'm afraid that I'm afraid it's too cold to put the squab out there. Shoot, I forgot to turn the camera off. Doggone it, and just ruined the video.